In this video, I'd like to show you how to use the Strong's numbers. The first step in this process, if you're not a Greek or Hebrew reader, is to open the King James Version. The King James Version is marked KJV. Once you go to a passage in the King James Version, you can enable the Strong's numbers by using the keyboard shortcuts, which in this case is S, which brings up the Strong's numbers. Now the Strong's numbers will be green numbers, and you can see here that the verse I'm looking at is highlighted in gray, and when I push the Strong numbers, the same verse is still highlighted in gray, but these numbers indicate then the Hebrew words which are behind and underneath each of these English words. So the Hebrew words were translated into these English words. Now even if you don't know Hebrew, you can still access the language. Let's look at this one, H705. Now when I click on that, you'll see that down here in my window, this definition pops up, and I can make that bigger by moving this line up. Now, this one is the Hebrew word, and even if you can't read that Hebrew word, you can read these English letters, the transliteration, and this stands for 40. And you can read here that the King James Version always translates this word as 40. And you can see the root of this word by clicking on this, which is arba, which is the number 4. And you can go back to 40 by clicking the green arrow there. Now let's go to a verb. Moses spake. So here's a verb, and when I click on this, I get the Hebrew word davar. And here you can see that the King James Version translates that word in various ways, as answer, appoint, bid, command, and so on and so forth. And you can see the 3 different usages of the Hebrew verb davar. The next thing to look at here is to note that in this book view, which is why, by the way, this is called a book view, as you can see from right here. This is a Bible view up here. You'll notice that there are different dictionaries. Mickelson is the dictionary that is tied to the Strong's numbers. So when you click on a Strong's number, you're going to see the Mickelson, which, as you can see here, is Mickelson's Enhanced Strong's Greek and Hebrew Dictionaries. That's a very useful module. But if you want to examine that word in BDB, which is the Brown Drivers Briggs Dictionary, which is a standard Hebrew dictionary for the Hebrew language, you can click that. Again, even if you don't know Hebrew, you can still see that it is the Hebrew word shaneh, which means year, and you see the different usages of it. When I click on a verb, you get a much fuller meaning. Again, click on BDB, and you can see that it means in the kal, to speak. In the nifal, it means to speak with one another. In the pial, it can mean to speak or to promise. In the pual, the hitpaal, and the hifil. So you see what it means in each one of the different stems. This is a very handy dictionary, a very handy module for when you're doing Hebrew exegesis. At any rate, when you're back in the Hebrew text again, you can get rid of the Strong's numbers by just hitting the S key, and you'll see your normal text.